Hey guys, it's Brian from the Daily AI Show. Welcome to another Saturday AI Conundrum. This one's a fun one this week. It's about AI manipulating our dreams. And is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? Here's the conundrum that we're going to be discussing today. If AI enables us to control and manipulate our dreams, should we embrace this capability to enhance our mental well being and creativity? Or does intervening in the natural process of dreaming risk unforeseen psychological consequences and ethical dilemmas? This is a fun one. If this is the first Saturday you've joined us for our Conundrums episode, these are a little bit different than what we do Monday through Friday, which are live shows and with all the co-hosts from the Daily AI Show. This one is sort of a meta experiment of AI talking about AI. So the process, if you haven't heard me say this before, super easy. I work inside of ChatGPT to come up with a conundrum, and there's a little bit of back and forth. That is then put into Perplexity's deep research, and I have it debate both sides of the conundrum. Then maybe there's some work there from me, a little bit of feedback. And then it goes into Google Notebooks LM, where I basically have it create a podcast that you're about to hear, where the AI hosts, debate both sides of it based off of the Perplexity information. So, kind of a fun one. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let's dig in.
Okay, so get ready because today we're diving headfirst into a topic that seems like it's straight out of science
Oh,
fiction.
yeah.
We're talking about AI and specifically AI's potential to step into our dreams. It's happening, people!
And we've all seen those movies, right?
Exactly, and it's getting closer to reality than you might think.
Was there something specific that comes to mind?
For sure, think about Prophetic AI and their Halo headband. It's supposed to drop next year, and it uses AI to help people have lucid dreams. Wild.
Prophetic AI, yeah, they've been making some waves.
So we're not just talking about a cool new gadget here. This is like a huge crossroads for neuroscience and artificial intelligence, and it comes with some serious questions. Like, what does this mean ethically? What does this mean for science? We have a lot to unpack in this deep dive, that's for sure.
Absolutely. We're talking potential benefits, and then, on the flip side, some serious concerns.
Exactly. So we're going to explore both sides. We'll look at the arguments for letting AI into our dreams, and we'll also dig into the reasons why people are saying, hold on, maybe not so fast.
I think that's the best approach with anything new and potentially groundbreaking.
Right.
Look at it from all sides.
Yeah, totally. The goal is to give everyone listening a clear understanding of this whole thing.
To unpack it, really break it down.
Okay, so let's start with the potential good stuff. What's the most exciting argument for saying yes to AI in our dream lives?
Well, I think a big area of excitement is therapy. Researchers at Northwestern Medicine have been looking into how lucid dreaming can be used to help people with sleep disorders.
Interesting. Any sleep disorder or a specific one?
Well, they've been focusing on narcolepsy and the nightmares that can come with it.
Oh, wow, that makes sense. Those can be really intense, right?
Yeah, and what they've found is that combining lucid dreaming techniques with cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT,
Right.
well, it seems like that combo could be huge, not just for sleep, but for other things too, like trauma or anxiety.
That's super interesting. So instead of just talking about a traumatic experience, someone could actually process it in a safer way, in a controlled way within their dream.
Exactly. And what's great is the Northwestern study showed that this could be really accessible. They used something called targeted lucidity reactivation.
Targeted lucidity reactivation.
TLR. It's delivered through a smartphone app.
Oh, wow.
And they saw people having way more lucid dreams, like going from less than one a week to more than two.
So just by using an app?
Yeah. And that just shows that even simple tech can have a big impact on our dreams.
No big
Imagine
one.
what more advanced AI could do. It could be really effective, and a lot of people could benefit from it.
That's really cool. So beyond therapy, could AI and dreams actually help us in our regular waking lives too? Could it boost creativity or help us solve those problems that keep us up at night?
That's where Prophetic AI's whole vision gets really fascinating. They talk about lucid dreams as particle accelerators for consciousness.
Okay, now that is some sci-fi stuff right there.
It is. But their thinking is that when we're lucid dreaming, our minds are in this super aware state, and that maybe that makes us better at problem solving and coming up with new ideas. Maybe it's harder to do those things when we're awake.
I kind of get that. It's like when you're dreaming, anything is possible.
Right, exactly. So imagine an engineer who's stuck on a coding problem, or
Yeah.
a physicist trying to understand the universe. What if they could work through those problems inside a lucid dream?
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So it's about tapping into a different level of thinking.
Exactly.
Okay, I want to circle back to the idea of accessibility. We were talking about how the Northwestern study used a phone app, but what about these fancier AI devices like the Halo headband? How do those fit into making lucid dreaming more common?
Well, right now, if you want to learn to lucid dream, like on your own, it can take a long time.
I imagine. It seems pretty tricky.
It is. It takes special techniques, got to practice a lot, and some people, it just never works for them. Devices like the Halo headband could change that. They use EEG sensors to track what your brain waves are doing,
Okay.
and then they use these things called ultrasonic transducers. Basically, they deliver targeted stimulation to your brain while you're sleeping at just the right time.
So it's like giving your brain a little nudge in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea is to make lucid dreaming like way more reliable. Now, it costs around $2,000.
Yeah, that's not exactly pocket change.
Not yet, but it's still a big step toward making these dream experiences more available to everyone. It's a glimpse into a future where we might not have to rely on just our own efforts to lucid dream. Technology could help us out.
So we've got potential benefits for mental health, maybe a boost to our creative thinking, and potentially easier access to these unusual dream states. But it also sounds like this technology could give us a totally new way to understand something really big, consciousness itself.
Totally. I mean, Jennifer Wentz, she's a cognitive scientist and philosopher at Monash University, and she makes a really interesting point.
What's that?
She says that by basically like engineering dreams, we might actually learn a lot about consciousness, which is a huge mystery in science and philosophy. Like imagine having this new tool to kind of peek into the dreaming mind and see how it works. That could be huge for understanding how our awareness really works.
It's like opening up a whole new window into the brain.
Exactly.
Okay, and one last point on the potential benefits. This idea of personalized emotional healing within our dreams. How could AI actually tailor our dreams to help us emotionally?
So imagine AI systems that can read our emotional state, even when we're asleep, like really accurately.
Okay.
And then if the AI senses you're super stressed, it could tweak your dream, like subtly guide it towards calming, peaceful, maybe even reassuring scenarios.
Yeah.
It's like having a personalized therapist in your subconscious.
That's wild.
It is. It could be a whole new way to process emotions and find support, maybe even alongside traditional therapies. It's pretty futuristic, right?
It is. Okay, so we've covered a lot of potential upsides, but now let's flip the script and get critical. What are the main arguments against AI messing with our dreams? What are the risks we really need to think about?
One big worry is that we might mess up our natural sleep processes. I mean, we know that dreams aren't just random things our brains do. They actually serve important biological and psychological functions.
Absolutely.
And scientists are still figuring out all the details of how that works. Even Prophetic AI, they know this, and they say that their goal is to, quote, gently influence the dreaming process without disrupting the essential restorative phases of sleep.
Right. So they're trying to be careful.
Yeah, but the question is, can we really mess with this super complex process, even gently, without causing unintended problems? Like, what if it affects our memory or how we regulate our emotions?
It does make you wonder, like, how much tinkering is too much.
Exactly, because sleep is so important for our overall health. Even messing it up a little can have big consequences.
It's not something to mess around with. Okay, what about more direct psychological risks? Are there documented dangers with lucid dreaming or having technology interfere with our dreams?
Yeah, actually, there are some documented risks with frequent lucid dreaming.
Really?
One of the main ones is something called dissociation.
Oh, I've heard of that. Isn't that where you feel disconnected from reality?
Exactly. It's like the lines between waking life and dreaming get blurred. Now, how likely this is and how bad it gets, it really varies from person to person. It might depend on whether they have any mental health vulnerabilities already.
Okay.
But the concern is that if a ton of people start using this dream manipulation technology, more people might experience these kinds of psychological problems, especially if there aren't any strong safety measures or ways to screen people beforehand.
So it's about protecting people who might be more vulnerable.
Right.
Now let's talk about something that feels really personal. Privacy. Our dreams are like the most private space we have. What are the worries about data security and the potential for misuse?
Oh, absolutely. The stuff in our dreams, that's like the most sensitive personal data you can imagine. I mean, someone said, and it's so true, dream data is some of the most intimate information one could collect.
I never thought about it that way, but that's so true.
It is. Think about it. All our deepest fears, our secret desires, our weirdest thoughts, they could all be recorded and analyzed.
Kind of gives me chills, to be
I
honest.
know, right? And it raises some really big questions, like who would own this dream data? How could it be used? What kind of protections would we need to have? Without super strict rules, companies could end up selling our most private subconscious experiences, or even using them against us.
I really don't like the sound of that. And the whole idea of ads targeting my dream, it's disturbing. Is
Yeah.
that actually a real possibility?
Well, unfortunately it is. There have already been some attempts. Back in 2021, Molson Coors, the beer company,
Oh, wow.
they ran a campaign called Targeted Dream Incubation. Basically, they were trying to sneak images of their beer into people's dreams, specifically football fans.
That's so creepy.
It is a bit, right? And it gets worse. A report from the American Marketing Association in New York, also in 2021, found that 77% of marketers at U.S. companies were already planning to use dream technology for advertising within 3 years.
That's a lot.
It is. And this whole thing sparked a big reaction from scientists. 38 dream researchers wrote an open letter warning everyone about the dangers of this technology being misused just to make money.
So even the experts are concerned.
Big time.
Okay, moving away from the practical risks, are there deeper, more philosophical questions about dreams being messed with by AI? Like, does it change what dreams even mean?
Definitely. The big question is whether a dream that's influenced by technology can ever be as authentic or meaningful as a natural dream.
That makes sense.
Like critics say that if we rely too much on tech to shape our dreams, we might miss out on the chance to really explore our own subconscious.
Because it's not truly coming from within.
Right, and the question becomes, do these artificial dream experiences hold the same psychological weight as organic dreams? Do they give us the same valuable insights? Some people worry that we might be losing something really important by outsourcing our dreams to technology.
That makes you think, doesn't it? Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the big unknown, the potential long-term consequences. What are the biggest worries about AI changing our dreams over time?
This is the scariest part, really. We just don't have a lot of long-term data on how dream manipulation affects our mental health. And most people believe that dreams are crucial for regulating our emotions, processing our daily lives, and forming memories. So if we start messing with those processes all the time, could it throw us off balance in ways we can't even imagine yet?
Right. We don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. And that means that if this technology becomes really widespread, it could be like a giant experiment on all of us with potentially huge and unforeseen consequences.
So we're left with this kind of balancing act, right? We've got these incredible potential breakthroughs in therapy, maybe a way to boost our creativity and the chance to understand consciousness in a whole new way. But then there are these serious risks to our privacy, our mental health, and even the core of what makes our dreams our own.
Absolutely. It's a complicated situation with no easy answers. Both sides have strong arguments based on real hopes and real fears.
And it feels like we're just at the beginning of this whole thing. The choices we make now will have a huge impact on the future of our minds and our inner worlds. So we really need to think carefully about regulations, ethical guidelines, and as you said, more research. It's crucial.
Definitely. I mean, Shakespeare had that famous line, "We are such stuff as dreams are made on."
Yeah, that's a good one.
So the big question now is, do we want to let artificial intelligence be a part of creating those dreams? It's a huge question, and it's one that everyone listening should think about because we're entering uncharted territory here.
It's definitely something to ponder.
It is.
So much food for thought.
Absolutely.